Hi, my name is Martin Geimer and I'm the CEO of Custodiex. Custodiex is a secure, real-time, insurable cold storage utility for any digital asset. I first looked at Bitcoins about 4 years ago, and when I first saw them, I was completely blown away. The reason being is the structure behind Bitcoin, not Bitcoins themselves, just fascinated me. And this looked like a banking style product in keeping with my 25-year career in investment banking. And I got very, very excited about the structure behind this. And I felt in time this might be something that is developed and has keenly moved on from or moved into the banking industry. And that was the real thing that excited me. The problem was at the time that I started looking at Bitcoin and started to trade them a little bit. And I soon realized there was no effective way of storing digital assets and digital assets in general, not just Bitcoins. So I set out on a quest to fix this problem, given my technical background trading complex products at major investment banks. And that's what I set out to do. We've had so far funding from Simbank Capital of £340,000, and that has enabled us to take our MVP into deployment status. So next month in June, we will actually have our digital vault ready to take on board digital assets. I think there's never been a better time for this to arrive. During the COVID situation, it's been very clear that people have changed their attitudes towards handling assets, services, and products. And this is what Custodiex is set up to do, to avoid the touch element of these products. So the process of digitization, where assets, products, and services are turned into certificates, which are letters and numbers, once that digitization process occurs, they can be pinged immutably, instantly, globally, around the world virtually for free. And this is something that I believe every company is going to embrace. And I know all the banks, for example, and central banks are working very hard on digital currencies. Banque de France announced theirs last week. Our structure is a hybrid structure, concrete and cloud. We have decommissioned nuclear bunkers and a technology that now enables us to move things in and out of those concrete data structures very, very quickly. And that's one of the most important things with our technology. Moving on from that, we have one key advantage. There is no human interaction within our vault. So obviously, post-COVID, that's going to be very important for any structure. Most of our competitors take 2 to 5 days and have clunky human processes to move things in and out of their digital vaults. There's no humans involved, and that's why we can have a real-time system for cold storage. The way we work is that when assets are digitized, they have like a twin, a digital twin. So you have the asset itself and this certificate, a digital certificate, a stream of letters and numbers, which is controlled by a key. And the key is the most important thing. This digital key, this digital certificate is the ownership of that asset. So what basically happens is the customer who owns a digital asset will effectively pass that digital asset using his key into our account. That key is then worthless. We have our own key that now attaches to the account that it's been transferred to. And that key is produced and evolved in our nuclear bunker. And then we have a very clever way of encrypting that to make sure it cannot get accessed and storing that accordingly. The customer then can then throw his key away. It's completely useless. And there's a reverse of this process when the customer wants his assets back. The main thing about us is, why should you trust Custodiex with your assets? And one of the main reasons for this is we've spent 2.5 years collaborating with the largest insurance syndicates in the world. and we have a tower of insurance available to us of £400 million. That means if there are any attacks on our vault, any cyber attacks, that our customers are insured and will get their assets back. It's also worth noting the encryption processes that we use are so stringent that it would take more than 13 billion years to crack. The reason I mention that number, that's the amount of time it took to build the universe. So our encryption processes are very, very structured. And at the back of that, we have a defense in-depth set of processes, which include nuclear bunkers, to make sure our customers' assets are very secure. I mentioned already we have a hybrid solution, concrete and cloud. The real-time element of this is very, very important. As I say, most things nowadays are moving to a software as a service, Internet of Things type situation, where customers demand speed, and that's what we can deliver with absolute security. It used to be the slower the process, the better the security. With us, you get the highest grade security with the fastest speed. Within our vaults, we have something called an air gap, and air gap is where two networks are completely separated. And that is absolutely vital to make sure assets are secure. We have patented processes. We applied for our patent in April, and that's going through, and that has 25 claims that we believe are quite unique about the way we go about our business. The other thing that's important to us, certainly with my banking background, is we are agnostic to asset. We can store any type of digital asset, not just cryptocurrencies, data, music, currencies, film, products, cars, services, anything at all. And I think that's very important going forward because, as I mentioned, post-COVID, everybody's going to want to move to this digitization structure, and that digitization structure requires security, and it's a security that we provide in this new ecosystem. Just to go about, talk a little bit more about our concrete solution. A concrete solution are two nuclear bunkers. We have two for redundancy, just in case one happens to have a problem, very similar to a generator kicking in within a house. So we have various layers of security. One is the physical bunker. We then have a 3-centimeter steel structure, like a telephone box, that surrounds our rack. Inside the rack is all our proprietary hardware, which we have built. And we have various different levels of security to make sure any ingress into that structure and all the hardware effectively deletes itself, or the software deletes itself. So any attack, instantly the software stops working, and we have ways of reconstructing that, which are set in motion in advance. The main thing here is a lot of people talk about wallets. We don't really believe in the wallet structure. That can be very, very useful for cups of coffee, etc. But we actually provide something called a vault. So we could provide almost a real-time wallet, but it has the same advantages of this cold storage digital vault. So a real large solution, utility for even everyday occurrences, and that's why we're very excited about the real-time aspect of this. If we look at certain markets, the size of markets that can adapt this, you can see that it's virtually open to any asset class and any silo of business. Fine art, $64 billion a year, 20 billion box office sales in film, 17 billion a year in sales in music, 130 billion is the capitalization of Bitcoin, and 18 billion of Ethereum. All these markets require security, and we've seen in the music and film industry where royalties are not traced back to source because of security issues. We provide the secure wrapper around utilizing and distributing products and services and assets globally in a digital age. We have our main business focus is to provide technology a digital vault, a tenanted digital vault. So people can effectively rent a virtual digital vault. This is almost plug and play through a REST API, and this enables any application to access this security very, very quickly. Our traction, we've got letters of intent for 2 people to store utility coins already. We're in discussions with 2 UK clearing banks to provide them with technology through our initial sandbox when we deliver the REST API next month. We're also involved, very excited about being involved in a For All wallet consortium. And this is a consortium that involves large banks, software houses, and within that we're providing the part of the ecosystem security, and that allows us access to all the other products within that system. So it's a very exciting end-to-end supply chain structure that we can plug into very quickly. And we're talking to one of the major derivative exchanges in London about supplying them with our technology. Our team is quite small. There's myself. I have a 25-year career in investment banking, as I mentioned, trading complex products. Our CISO, more importantly, the technology guy behind all the security, has a 22-year career working for banks and governments and specializes in the very high-end security that's necessary in these environments, and that is how we've designed our products. So it's the highest standard possible. David Walcock is very well known in the foreign exchange world, in the compliance, regulation and governance world, and he brings a very large dimension to the regulation that we believe is coming in this environment. We believe the banking style regulations are coming our way, and David is helping us out with that. Richard is in charge of looking at our distribution and also helping us with funding. So Richard has a dual role, and he has a media background which has proved invaluable within the company. We're looking to raise £1 million. The principal aim here is to build out our IT staff, build out our distribution staff, and just move the business forward. There are a few certifications that we need, which are quite expensive, and they will give us a kite mark when we go out to start talking to large institutions. We have already raised £340,000. We have a very lean business at the moment. Our our cash burn per month is about £15,000. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a patent asset which we're very pleased with, which was applied for last month. We believe there are a lot of opportunities for exit here. The market is moving in dog years. Dog year is 7 years as opposed to 1. 3 years in this current environment is like 21 in normal markets. We believe the banks will want this technology, any of the large technology companies, in fact, anybody that's moving or into the tokenized space, but we believe the banks are our best opportunity for exits. Our projections, EBITDA, can be seen on the screen. We believe that these are with the appropriate funding, we believe we can match all of these. Also, it should be noted that in the background, once we have sticky assets, when we start accumulating assets within our vault, very similar to the way that commercial banks take their customers' money and have a loan portfolio that enables them to make exponential profits. We have various products which come from my banking background, which we can apply and overlay into the assets within our vault that increase our opportunities to create income dramatically. These are not shown in these figures, and they will be additional income from there. Thank you very much indeed for your time.